Robert from Blue Planet Surf, and I'm here with Travis Grant, the day before the Molokai race. So how are you feeling, Travis?
I think I feel good. I mean, you can talk to anyone. You could always, oh, you always could have think you'd done more, you know. I always thought I could have trained more. Could have maybe trained for a little bit flatter race, but I mean, you know, I'm here, I'm ready, see what happens.
All right. So people a lot of times ask, how do you train the week before a race? Do you train or do you just take it easy?
That's a fantastic question, and honestly, that's actually one myself I'm still trying to work out. Like, leading up to an event or even smaller, I like to, you know, there's no training like racing, and I like doing a lot of events because I sometimes need that race to wake me up, to see what the speed's at, you know, to see what I got to do myself. And so when I can see where the speed's at, it helps me train. So I love racing, I love training, it's fun, but the week before a big event like this, even I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I mean, if it's windy, I'll do downwind, I'll try and make it nice and easy, but if it's not windy like we had on Oahu, it was flat, I didn't do much paddling at all. I don't know if it's going to help, or it's a week out. I mean, nothing's going to help, yeah.
Right, you can't really train. I mean, you're not going to improve your endurance or anything.
No,
like that.
So it's a skill. I think it's a skill thing, or you chase some speed maybe, just do short speed work, work on the skill, work on the comfort, the little things, you know, try your systems, do a sprint with your system on, do some starts. Just run through your mind how you're going to race, and it's sort of what I would suggest. I don't know if I did that or not. I can't remember what I did, to tell you the truth. But yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your equipment. I'm sure most people spend a lot of time playing around with their equipment the week before, right? So,
yeah, with the stand-up, you know, I still think equipment's a huge factor. I mean, boards are still so new to me. I mean, I have a new board this year. NSP have made me a new board. I only got it like a month and a bit ago, so I've been cramming in the surf trying to figure out where to stand. You know,
that's a Dale Chapman.
Yeah, Dale Chapman shape NSP. It's 1710. Yeah, it's long. You know what? I didn't do any flat water testing, and so here I am, like trying to find where to surf, like where to stand. I'm like, oh, I'm a little too far forward. So I moved back a bit and I feel a little too far back. I mean, 1710's a long board, so there's all this board in front of you, and I'm not used to that, you know. So it's about trying to find what works for me, or make what you have. You know, an old coach used to say to me, get a good paddle, get a good board, and make it work for you. You know, like no excuses sort of thing. You can make anything work, you know. And I'm a big believer of that. So whatever equipment I have, I try and make work. You know, so I like, the more time you spend with equipment, the more you can make it work for you, or the more you can find out what you need to be done next time, instead of just jumping brand. I try and make work what I've got, work with what I got. So I'm doing a lot of surfing, and I feel pretty confident on the board. It's tippy, it's fast. Is it fast in the flat? I don't know. Is it going to be flat? I don't know. It's one of those things, these races, you just can't predict what's going to happen.
How wide is it?
24.5 wide.
So it's pretty narrow, and it has kind of a rounded.
Yeah, I like that style. Around a lot of people do not. A lot of people, I guess, again, not used to it, can't handle it. It's all I'm used to. Every single board I had from day one was kind of rolled, so that's what I've stuck with, and it seems to. So I make it work. Other people might not like it. It's just one of those things.
And then for your paddle, you're using a trifecta, of course, right?
Of course.
Which size are you
so
planning to use?
You know, I've been we started the 96, and even myself, I found it a little big at times, you know, and so it felt a bit big, so I cut it down a little bit shorter, and then it felt good again. Now instead of going a smaller blade, I just went a shorter paddle, and it felt a bit better. And then we made the 86. I pretty much replaced them all with an 86. So I was using a 96 at the beginning, but I actually think I'm going to use 86 tomorrow. 86 trifecta. And I got 3 sizes in all different heights. So again, it's just while I'm out there, if I start feeling like I am, you know, we're not sprinting for runs, if it's more of a, I guess you could say, a grind, I'll probably get back to a longer paddle, and so I can stand up straighter and paddle properly. Where if we're sprinting or it's technical, then you got to bend down a little bit more to get that speed, then I'll go a shorter paddle. So I'm sort of, little things like that. Maybe people don't realise that when you sprint, you need a shorter paddle, but when you're going long and strong, 80%, you kind of want to stand up nice and tall. So
there's no rule about switching your paddle, right? I know you can't you're not supposed to switch out your board during the race unless it's
Damage.
failure.
Yeah,
But
you can
on a
switch your paddle.
you can just switch it. Yeah. So like for a short paddle, how far over your head is it, or how do you measure a short versus a long paddle?
I mean, honestly, it's a gauge. Every board's different, you know. Like I got dugout boards, and then every board I have is a different thickness.
Right.
That sort of theory of the shaka, or I used to go limp wrist over the top, is sort of nearly out the window. I've sort of got to jump on a board and see which paddle I want, or it depends on the race to what size paddle I'll do. So I personally have 4 trifecta 86s, all inch apart. I've got 4-inch different play,
okay.
and I go from 76 to basically 78 is
Length.
75 to 78
75 to 78.
on my length.
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'9", I think.
5'9", so whatever, you guys can do the math.
Yeah.
But,
no,
okay,
I don't have a
that's
rule of
interesting.
thumb. I just.
All right. So talk to us a little bit about the last 2 Molokai races. So 2 years ago was your first time doing it, right?
2 years ago, 2013, was my first attempt at Molokai on a stand-up. I had done Molokai before on the canoe, so I'm aware of how the channel. No one knows how the channel really works, but I'm aware of what I was in for. This time I was doing it standing up,
and it went pretty well, right?
It ended up being a flat year. It wasn't so forecast. 2013 was supposed to be windy. It was like morning of, we're like, yeah, it's going to be windy. Rain squall come through, and for some reason it was a pretty mellow race. But the whole time we're racing, we all thought the wind's going to come, and it never actually came. And then all of a sudden we're on Oahu, and then all of a sudden found I was in first place. So.
And that was where like Connor and Kai went kind of south.
That was the year.
The helicopters were following them, and everyone thought they would win, but then.
Yeah, when I didn't, my first attempt, I didn't expect to win. I mean, I was just out there to sort of see again, like what I had to do to maybe win this kind of style of racing, and that was my attempt. I really put a month of training in for it, and went out there just to figure it out. And while I was racing, I was looking, I was just turning my head trying to figure out, like, wow, this is a tough race. How can I make this easier, or can I be more efficient? And we hit Oahu, and Kai and Connor were the favourites, hands down. Danny Ching was there that year. They went south, racing each other, battling, surfing, just in their own little world. And sure enough, I just went straight line and ended up 10 minutes in front of them. So that was definitely a line error on their course, or it was a line. It was a perfect line by us. It was a combination of both.
You had.
So
really, the only guy with you was
Scott Gamble.
Scott Gamble was kind of close to you.
He was on the same line as us. Yeah, he got second. So after that race, I was like, wow, I'm never doing that again. That was super hard. I can't get better than first, so I'm out. And then Dave Kalama was chatting with me one day. He's like, hey, you can't just rock up and win a race and then never do it again. Like, you got to prove it wasn't a fluke, And I was like, good point. You got to defend your, if you win a race, you got to defend your title. So, a guy like that telling me that, I was like, you know what, you're right. So as soon as he told me that in my head, I was like, oh, I do want to defend. I do want to prove it wasn't a fluke. So I entered last year and basically was neck and neck with Connor. This time they went the same line. Neck and neck with Connor the whole way till right at the end when I did a water change, and he basically got a gap and then never closed the gap, and he got me by a minute. And it was like the fastest time by a long time last year. He got 4:08, I got 4:09, which is, that's an old OC1 time. That's as fast as I do on a canoe. So to do that on a stand-up I think it caught me by surprise. I didn't realise where we were, and all of a sudden we're like, oh, I'm nearly finished, and like, I got to go, but he's already gone, sort of thing. And so last year I was super happy with second, but it has made me a little hungry this year to try and get it back. So who knows?
So I talked to you earlier. You think this year you think Connor and Kai are the favorites?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Kai is so hungry. He's the most talented kid I've seen, and to put this on his resume would be huge. So, and I guess, I'm from Australia and I've moved to Hawaii. The Molokai means so much to local Hawaiians, and it means, and I guess I didn't realise that until I started competing in it, sort of thing, and I started talking to locals, and now living here, and it is the most prestigious race in the world, but it's even more prestigious if you're from Hawaii. So it means a lot to these guys, and to win one's for life. You win for life. You know what I mean? They can never take that away from you. So I think Kai's super hungry for a win. Connor's really competitive. He wants to win probably as many as he can, and I somehow want to upset the apple cart.
Yeah, it seems, you know, it's kind of funny because it seems like most pro stand-up paddlers that, you know, kind of would agree that the Molokai race is like the biggest race of the year. That's like what everyone kind of prepares for almost the whole season, right? Yet on like Sup Racer in the annual rankings, it seems like it's kind of low on the rankings. Like it's not as important as many other races.
Yeah,
what do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a different. I guess everyone who does Molokai is like, come on, this is the world. This is like a race in its own. It's nearly even should be its own ranking sort of thing. It really is its own element, and it's hard. I mean, a lot of people don't show up to do the race because it's too hard, logistically hard. Everyone's like, oh, I haven't got the right board, it's expensive. And a lot of people are afraid because they don't know what they're in for. And they go, oh, I'm not going to win, I'm not going to do it. And I used to think that too, and I was like, no, I mean, this is the world championship unofficial race. I'm gonna try and do it. And you know, I had a successful attempt. You know, I did focus on it. It's so for the rankings. Yeah, I mean, the only reason it doesn't score highly is because all the so-called good paddlers are not here. I'm not going to say they're too scared to be here, but it's really hard. No, it is. It's a scary race. Like, so they're not here, so it doesn't rank as highly. But I mean, if you win Molokai, it's like, yeah, okay. Like there's the World Championships rankings, and then there's the guy who won Molokai. There really is. So to be that guy every year is, you know, to be that guy once a year, to be that guy once, you know, even twice would be just, you know, it's not so much a dream. It's just, I guess it's one of those subconsciously good feelings. Just like, wow, like I can't believe I won that race, you know. And it is everyone's. If you can win that race one day in your life, not many people get to win it. So I think there's going to be, I think it's between Kai, Connor, and myself this year.
Right.
But you never know.
So those are the guys to beat, huh?
I think so.
So what's your strategy? Are you going to try to stick with them or do your own thing?
No, I've always been a pretty smart racer. Like a lot of times when people race, everyone goes go and go, and they just head down and they're just going, and they sort of follow the pack, or they just. I'm the opposite. I've always actually just got taught. I was always looking and, you know, seeing what's going on, and so no, I normally always just do my own thing. I definitely look at people when they race, but I don't like to look at them because you look up and they're on a wave and you're not. You know, it mentally affects you. And same when I'm racing, if I'm next to someone, I try and go as slow as I can. You know, I try and half their stroke rate. If they see that, it just fries. They're like, oh, he's like the same speed and he's doing half the effort as me. So I'm all about doing my own thing and trying to make the other people make the mistakes. You know, so.
It's always fun to pass someone when you're on a bump and you're not paddling and shooting past them while they're paddling as hard as they can. Right?
No, I mean, I'll be doing my own thing tomorrow. I'll keep an eye on them, but if they don't do what I want to do, then if they weren't last year, they all sort of stuck on the same line, and I sort of sat behind, and they basically just wherever we went, they sort of would cover us, and I was like, okay, like that's the game we're playing this year, and kind of come on top. This year, with the weather being, we're not sure what's going to happen. I don't know. Whoever's behind this year could maybe make a move, and I mean, why not? I think the scariest place sometimes is in front on a race like this because
you're hunted.
I mean, someone behind you can make a move, and you don't know if it's going to pay off or not, and you're in front, so it's. I don't know. I guess you just got to be more confident than the other guy, and a little bit of luck.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a lot of the Molokai race is mental too, right? Like, what's
you know what? I'm more mentally fatigued after the race than physically. I mean, my feet hurt, my brain hurts. Paddling wise, I feel okay. You know, I mean, it's not that physically demanding as a paddler. It's physically demanding on the rest of your body, I feel. So yeah, I mean, if you have an escort boat that can do thinking for you, it helps. But yeah, no, I'm mentally fried, halfway through the race.
So, I mean, what kind of things does the escort boat help you with? I guess navigation.
More confidence, and they keep you you know, if they see you starting to zone out, you know, or just like wail or your speed drops, that, you know, you might not realize, you know. And so just little things like that. I mean, no, sometimes I'll be out there and like the escort boat will see if we're getting sucked north or south. So just if they can just tell me things like that. And sometimes, you know, the ocean changes while you're out there the whole time.
Sure.
So sometimes it'll open up. And you're like, wow, there's some big ones, you know, like, and it's just them just saying, you know, I see some big ones, like I might not be seeing them, and then I'll start looking for them, you know, like, so you can't do everything at once. So it's just little prompts like that help me look, and, you know, and they're like, okay, you make a move, you know, random times in the race. Like there's no hills, you know, to sprint up a hill. It's just slightly changing conditions.
Everything's moving around all the time.
Yeah, and you can attack, you can cruise, you got to learn to conserve, you got to learn to attack. You got to keep your eyes open, and then you got to pray you went the correct way on the day.
So it looks like tomorrow the wind forecast to be kind of almost a little bit southeast, right? So which should, well, it's pretty much straight towards Oahu, right? So
Southeast, I've never done a paddle on a southeast. I mean, that's the thing with the race, you're right. Never is going to be the same conditions. Never, ever you're going to go, wow, that was just like the other day. Like it never happens, sort of thing. I don't know what, I've never done a southeast. It looks good in theory. It's been super good the last 2 days. They're going to be residual, you know, northeast bump still, like huge southwest swirl. What does that do to us? Like, there's so many unknowns. Like some people might think they know. Honestly, I don't think anyone knows what it's going to be like tomorrow.
Right.
And it's going to be who can think on their feet the fastest, and then also who actually will maybe take a better line. And it's going to be a bit of a lottery tomorrow on who takes a better line. I think the people to worry about are the people in second and third who have that chance of, you know what, if you're not matching them for speed, you know, by 3/4 of the way, halfway through, why not take a different line and see what Mother Nature throws at you.
Alright. So yeah, I mean, out in the channel, there's a lot of times there's like the big swells moving one direction, the smaller swells kind of pushing you where you want to go, and then so like, do you try to charge into the big ones, or do you just stay online with the smaller ones? What's your?
I'm always that's a good question, and then there is no generic answer. It's sort of on the day. I mean, I don't know what swell's going to be out there. Throw in some boat wash too, which can be going all different directions. Basically, when I'm paddling, I'm looking for the fastest bump, and whichever way that bump may be going. So a lot of times it's actually boat wash. I'm just looking for that fastest bump. So I'll get on a bump if it's going left, right, straight, any way but backwards, I'll ride that one. So it's all about finding which way the fastest bump's going, and then trying to milk that fast bump. And I don't know which way it's going yet tomorrow, but hopefully I'm the first one to find it.
So I mean, your escort boat has to go behind. Like I guess they have more strict rules this year too about like how the escort boat, they have to stay behind the nose of your board. They have to be idling if you're approaching the boat. You can't touch the boat and so on.
No, I agree with it.
But like you're saying, boat wash, so that would be like if there's someone in front of you, their escort boat, you can kind of get there with the boat wash.
I guess, you know, I've done a lot of racing in Tahiti and canoe racing, and we're going faster, right? So the boats are actually going a little bit faster, so there's a bit more weight coming off them. On the stand-up, we're kind of going pretty slow, and the boats, if they're next to you, are not throwing off much weight. It depends how fast we're going, but basically, I mean, to tell you the truth, it kind of sucks there's escort boats out there. I mean, wouldn't it be great, just man on man, and it really is man versus man, you know, but safety-wise, it's too dangerous. You need to have an escort, you know. So unfortunately, there is those boats, and they can hinder you or help you. Basically, it's how I feel the race. The motorboats should be ghosts, you know what I mean? They shouldn't be anywhere near the races. They should be keeping an eye on you. Tactic reason wise, if there's a motorboat and a person there and you're behind, there's nothing stopping you going over and sitting behind their motorboat. I mean, it's your race, not theirs. So if you're sitting behind someone's motorboat, they should get out of the way, or they should see you coming. So a lot of the times I'll actually find motorboats to get them out of the way, you know what I mean? Because they can sometimes throw you off. So I guess it's just part of racing, motorboat wash. If you get caught on your own motorboat wash, I think you should be DQ'd, not penalised. I think that's blatantly cheating. But if your competition motorboat's sitting right in front of you, you know, either you get them out of the way or you take a free ride. So I don't know what to do there, but I'm glad the motorboat, I don't even think you should be able to touch the motorboat. Again, they should be ghosts. You know what I mean? If you need water, they come, drop your water pack.
I mean, that is the rule this year, that you're not allowed to even touch the motorboat.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's very dangerous too. You know,
Right.
So,
Sure.
but you know, that's part of racing. It's a safety issue, and at least they get some good photos.
Right. Well, I mean, the Molokai to the Maui to Molokai race is kind of like that, where you don't need to have you're not required to have an escort, and I find that actually more enjoyable, because then it's really just the ocean swells that you have.
Yeah, as long as you got a leash,
distracting.
and you know, maybe you have a life.
No diesel fumes and all that kind of stuff. Then.
So no, wash riding's part of racing in that race, and you know, they got a rule, no wash riding after 15 minutes. You know, I think that's kind of a silly rule to have. I mean, we're in an open ocean. I mean, it should be like, go, first one there wins. Only rule is you can't ride your own escort boat. I mean, you're never going to draft someone if there's any kind of bump. You know, the only time you'll draft it is an absolute sheet of glass out there. And if there's a sheet of glass out there, I think you should let someone wash ride. I mean, it's a big ocean. You're all by yourself. You know, why not race as a pack? You know, it's more fun we're not racing as a pack with motorboat wash. You're just riding each other's wash, as long as it's your own board class. Yeah. So I saw that rule in the rules, and I was like, no, there shouldn't even be a rule. It should be like, can't.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's not a concern if you do have bumps, like, you know,
yeah, normally
better off with the bumps.
Good luck, you know, like try wash ride someone, it's impossible. So
yeah.
And the race is a learning curve for everyone. I mean, every time I do the channel on any craft, even drive over on a motorboat, you learn something. You think you learn something different, or you hope you learn something different. Tomorrow we're all going to learn a lot, I think, about ourselves, about what the conditions do, and then when we get to Hawaii Kai, there's a big southwest swell.
Oh yeah, that'll be
Which
interesting.
again, it's like, I think the locals have a slight advantage there. All the international guys, whoa, it's going to be interesting going through there.
I know, we might see some broken boards there, huh?
We do.
You know, sometimes I find like myself starting to think negative thoughts or whatever, like, and then you have to kind of have a way to change that back to having positive thoughts or whatever. Do you have any tricks?
Yeah, I mean, that's where the escort boat helps, because they can, you know, that's where the escort boat is good. If you had no escort boat, a lot of people would find the race a lot harder. If there is no support group or support person, or you'd really feel alone and exposed out there. No, I've always had with racing, I'm good at, I always think when I'm racing, and I like the race. I don't like a lane race where you go, dum, dum, first one to the wall wins, you know what I mean? Like, I like when the ocean and things happen and you have to adjust and move, and ocean's changing, and there's boats and there's other people, and it's the jungle rules, you know. I kind of like that style of racing, and yeah, you can get unlucky, you can get caught behind people get in your way, you can get frustrated, but no, I always just think, you know, it's all confidence. You just got to think, you know, I'm better than this, or I know I can keep up with that guy, or you just got to have your own goals and just be happy with how you perform on the day. No, I try not wander. I'm pretty focused, and I'll finish the race, and then I'll think back on where I could have gone better, or where I made my mistake, or just not on the day. I just didn't have it on the day. So when you ask me tomorrow, I'll let you know.
Yeah. So do you try to pace yourself? Like, do you ever try?
That's pacing.
Not to go too hard in the beginning.
Pacing's a hard one. That comes down to race experience. You know, a lot of guys in training really fast, and then it comes to a race and they're really bad. And I think they just not pace themselves enough, or race experience, or yeah, it's all about pacing. It's all about basically staying up near the front, but doing it as easy as you can. It's easy to say, hard to do, but that's sort of what I do. I try and pace. The way I train similar way to racing, up and down, and I mean, no one can go for 5 hours, you know, at an observed speed or heart rate. So you got to pace yourself, but you also have to not miss any opportunities, miss any bumps. So no, it's all who can pace himself the best, who can be the most efficient paddler is going to win the race.
Well,
fantastic.
Thanks a lot. Good luck tomorrow, Travis.
Thank you, Rob.
Hope you get those young guys.
I do too.
How old are you, by the way, now?
I'm 32.
32, and then Connor and Kai are probably like...
I think Kai's 22, is he not? I'm not sure. I mean...
So they're about 10 years younger.
Yeah.
So how does that affect things? I mean...
You know what, they're definitely more agile. Definitely got maybe a higher heart rate. They're just less experienced. They're definitely more aggressive. They're more hungry for it. You know, I'm a competitive, but you know, I'm still doing this for fun. You know, it's not the end of the world for me. I want to race. I want to be competitive, and you know, to beat them is just a personal achievement. And if they beat me, I'll be the first person to say, "Hey, you guys, like, well done. Like, wait till you're my age. You know what I mean? You're going to be killing it. You know." So it's good to race young guys. Makes you feel young again, and to beat them, it's just I think it's just a satisfying experience. There's no other reason except just a personal reason to beat them. So like I say, if they beat me, I'll be stoked for them, and they deserve it probably more. You know. So let those two have a rivalry. Let those two duke it out, and maybe they might make a mistake again. You know,
like, and go right by him.
So I mean, at the same time, it makes them go faster, but we'll see what happens. It'll be an interesting race. I wonder, you know, even I don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. I think it's going to count. I think all three, you know, they're good. Everyone's good enough. It's going to come down to on the day. You know, and we race again tomorrow. It'll probably be a different winner. So it really is one of those who can pull it out on the day and make the least amount of mistakes for that 4 or 5 hour crossing.
Right.
All right.
Good luck tomorrow, Travis.
Thank you, sir.
With a time of 4:59.38. Incredible time, incredible performance. Please give a big warm round of applause for our first place finisher, Travis Grant. Travis is going to get one of those future spins. He's going to get $3,000